Editors note this interview was organized and summarized to clarify. Former Estonian President Kersti Kaljulaid has been among most voiced supporters Ukraine since the beginning of full-scale occupation Russia in February 2022, just 4 months after his mandate expired. From public speeches at global conferences to behind-the-scenes advocacy, Kaljulaid comes together for international assistance to Ukraine, as well as for the country's integration into both the European Union and NATO. Its president, Kaljulaid Foundation, raised over €340,000 to help journalists in Ukraine and over €50,000 for training in war-destroyed areas. Kaljulaid recently returned from Ukraine to Estonia, where he spoke at the Yalta European Strategy Conference held in Kiev on September 89. Just before Kiev Independent Deputy Editor-in-Chief Toma Istomina participated in a public discussion about role of Ukrainian media during war. She sat in Tallinn for an interview with Kiev Independent on October 10. The Kyiv Independent: we are talking at a time that seems rather uncertain about the future of the West's support for Ukraine in Russia's fight against aggression. Recent elections in favor party that has a pro-Russian stance in Slovakia. There is an increasing disappointment with the U.S. Republican Party providing military aid to Ukraine. And of course fight with Poland. One Ukraine's biggest problems until recently. Reliable allies. Do you think Ukraine should worry? Kersti Kaljulaid, you have described it in very dark terms. But I also want to touch on a few more points. At the Yalta European Strategy Conference, I was at the place where a German general said free Ukraine and victory means 1991 borders without hesitation. It's a big deal that this comes from a German general. Similarly, when we look at reactions France and feelings French people, for example, about enlargement EU, they were always negative in this regard. But public shifted towards membership Ukraine. There are also negativities in some European countries, such as the intervention of people's attitude towards helping Ukraine. Public support to Ukraine is fluctuating in Slovakia, but in large EU countries such as Germany and France, this is strong and very positive because politicians have a lot to do to their people. But at end of the day they do what public supports. Politics works in democratic countries. Therefore, I think you have absolutely no concern about Europe's support, unless the French or German peoples. However, reacting to them as risks arise is a continuous study. Another important risk we see now is linked to the escalation of the tension between Israel and Hamas. Many people in Ukraine are concerned that this may direct some of the aid from Ukraine to Israel. If you take an attitude that this is a separate conflict, then yes. However, it is quite easy to see that the non-free world is suitable to join forces such as Iran, Russia and China. I mean, all these countries stand t